We hide through a smile, we hide behind makeup, we hide behind our clothes, and we hide how we're feeling. So what do we actually do? Did you know that a lot of women, why do they wear a lot of makeup? Welcome to another episode with Mina Kumari. Right, what we're going to talk about today. What about wearing a mask? What does that actually mean? How we look, how we see ourselves, and how we hide behind ourselves. We hide through a smile, we hide behind makeup, we hide behind our clothes, and we hide how we're feeling. So what do we actually do? Did you know that a lot of women, why do they wear a lot of makeup? Right? We have been given simplicity, we've been given natural beauty. And I'm not saying everyone does that, but the majority of us always want to hide our imperfections. Did you know the imperfections, they're there for a reason? Think about the way our faces, think of the way how everything on our faces, like our ears, our nose, our mouth, our teeth, our ears, our eyebrows, how many of us go through and don't like any of those things on our faces? Do you know why? Because we just think it's not perfect. And why do we think it's not perfect? It's all about social media. We are being given this persona that we have to look a certain way. You know, when we look at social media, when we look at magazines, when we look at movies, we want to be these actresses. We want to be these people on social media. But do you know something? They have a team of people. They have nutritionists, they have beauticians, they have fitness instructors. If you wake up every single day, do you get up in the morning and somebody's actually giving you a juice in your hand, or someone's putting like slippers on? We don't, because we live in a real world. And sadly, this is what happens. Then we start having to make ourselves look even more beautiful than we are. We need to wear things. We need to use certain products because that's what social media tells us to do. These are the kind of things that make us feel so bad about ourselves that we continue to keep feeling bad about how we are, because we want to look like those. Like I said, they've got a team of people. We don't have that. We're like, if we've got children, we're like screaming at our children in the morning, trying to get ourselves to work, make sure the kids have eaten, make sure they've dressed. Even if you've got a partner, your husband, you know, the family, you were making dinner, breakfast for them in the mornings before we go and set out to do our day's work. How about even like when our parents were growing up, right? Moms were at home, dads went out to work, moms were at home. So mom can make all these lavish dinners at home. We don't have that luxury anymore. Both parents have to work. We need to make ends meet. So what do? We try and compensate with how we look. Think about when we were growing up. Think about our parents, right? Back in the day, only one parent went out to work. A lot of mums were stay-at-home moms, dads went to work. So mom had the luxury back in their day, although they had the pressures of other things, they still had the luxury of making sure we had proper breakfast in the morning. Mum got us up in the morning. You know, there were some dads, but predominantly it was the mums. We had lunch, we had dinner, we went to bed on time, we had our clothes washed on time, we had our clothes ironed on time. But we don't have that luxury anymore. Both parents have to go out to work. So, you know, we're all up against the clock every single day. Think about what we wear. Do you know, back in we didn't have a lot of choice. So we had probably a handful of clothes that we actually managed with and looked great in them. So what we learned to do is mix and match. We used to do a capsule wardrobe for our children, ourselves, and our partners. But now, again, with social media hammering us to say, you need to have the latest this, you need to have the latest this, the fashions, the trends. But sometimes you don't feel good about yourself. So what do? You go out and spend. Guess what? The debt goes up. We want to have the latest gadgets. We need to have the latest magazines, the cars, the phones, the jewelry. Do you know what? We don't need to have any of that. We need to step back a little bit and start looking at what we have. We are in a world where we've become consumers. Think about it, what it does to us mentally. You know, when I talk about we wear that mask, we hide behind it. So many of my clients have real addictions to shopping. They just can't stop because they get so drawn into social media that we need to have these things. Our kids have to look this way. Our partners have to look. We have to look the perfect family. And you know what? That's not really the way. We don't need to do that anymore. Think about if we just step back a little bit and we started shopping in our wardrobes. How much can we actually find in there? Look at the makeup. If you look at the women, if you look at your makeup bags, how many lipsticks do we need? How many eyeliners do we need? How many mascaras, the blushes, the foundations? Do you know what? If you just had a handful of things, you would feel so much better, because what you would do is just go and buy the things we need. Think about our children. Recycle their clothes. Do you know there's a thing now that people are swapping clothes that make each other feel better, because one, they're not having to spend a lot of money. There's a lot of families who are swapping clothes as well now, which is absolutely great, because your kid can be in something different. And can you imagine that if you had, tip here is, imagine you had a little bit of a, not jumble there, but say you laid out all your clothes that you wanted to donate, and the other families come and put their clothes out in size order. How cool would it be for these kids to go and shop around? What we are teaching our kids, how amazing would that be? Even for ourselves, how about swapping clothes? How about with our friends? Do you know, as South Asian women, we have so many saris. How about swapping saris? How about, recycling our saris? I recently went to a wedding, and what I did, I had my old saris out, and what I did is just got a new blouse. Didn't cost me the earth. All I did was revamped my sari blouse into a modern looking blouse. I've actually gone to some places like H&M. H&M do the t-shirts, crop tops. Can you imagine wearing the crop tops with your saris? How elegant does that look as well? Get a black one. My daughter recently, at one of my cousin's weddings, she wore one of my saris with a black crop top, and it just looks so elegant. Think about recycling some of our old jewelry. When you go Western outfits, how about mix and matching our Asian jewelry with the Western outfits? Give it a bit of a class, give it a bit of a spruce up to say, look, we can do this. Because again, there's so many creative ways we can do it. Do you know, sometimes masking how we feel, masking what our finances are like, masking you're not happy in the way you look. We don't need to do any of that. Like I said, I've given you so many tips when it comes to clothes. Even swapping magazines with each other. How great would that be? Even when we get together, the pressure that we put on ourselves that our house needs to look immaculate. The food on the table, we have to do it all ourselves. Have you ever thought of this concept, which I only got used to about 8 years ago when I lived in Singapore? It's potluck. Everyone brings a dish. How cool is that? Can you imagine how well you would feel that everyone's bought a dish in and then you get to try everyone's food? How amazing would that be? And then everyone's involved. The host is not absolutely tired. Okay, like I said, I've given you so many tips there, what we can do. Let's start relieving the pressure on ourselves. Let's get ourselves to get everyone integrated. How lovely would it be? Say if you had a family function, why don't you get everyone to mix or make something? How great would that be? Get some of the tips I've given you about the children's clothing. How much money would you save? Think about sustainability. And can you imagine when you start doing that, how cool would it be for the environment as well? And think about it. How good would it be for your mental health that we don't have to keep spending money? Do you know what the biggest killer is? It's finances with a lot of people. So stop masking who you really are. Stop masking how you're feeling. Stop masking and to start sharing with other people. Okay, so everything I've said so far, I hope it's resonated with you. I would absolutely love for you to leave a comment in the comments box and let me know how you're finding this. If there's anything else that I've missed out, maybe you could share with my other viewers. And coming on to viewers, if you love what I say and you enjoy it and you feel somebody else will benefit from it, please like, share and subscribe. And I'll see you all on the next episode. Thank you.